Hey, I'm back. So today we're going to talk about skin retouching, professional skin retouching, not the smooth kind of skin wherein they retouch and then the skin doesn't have any details. I'm talking about magazine quality skin retouching. Okay, to begin with, let me try to open up my Photoshop. Okay, bear with me, my computer is quite old. Okay, while my Photoshop is opening, I think I have one of my image ready. Let me close that to make sure that my computer will gonna run fast. Let me open a file. Go to my desktop. Maybe open this file. Okay. Let me zoom in a little bit. Show my letters. Let me duplicate my layer there. Okay, normally for retouchers, they use a bunch of techniques. I don't know what kind of techniques that they're using, but this is the proper way for me, which I find a little bit more different and more professional than the other tools that you're going to be using in Photoshop. So I use the healing brush tool. I don't use the spot healing brushes because that you don't have any control on your source point if you are using the spot healing brush. But if you use the healing brush tool, you get a chance to select the control point that you want. And I always use a hard brush. I don't use the smooth one. I use maybe about 94% and my spacing into 0. Now the only problem with the healing brush tool is you get some of the tones smooch in if you go to the edges. Like for example, if I'm pressing this part of the image, you see everything is blending in. The the tones, the black tones in here together with the mid tones in here are blending all together. So that's the problem with this healing brush. But I have a different way in doing that so that your tones will not gonna mix all together. Okay, let's delete this one first. Okay, zoom out a bit. Okay, let me duplicate this. I don't know how to unlock it. Maybe, or maybe the other one can serve as a oops original one. Let's rename this file 1, and then second one will be 2, and then maybe we group them so I can explain it to you. Okay, now we have this original file and we have the group one. Okay, which is retouch. Okay, let me deactivate this one first and deactivate this and choose number 1. The first thing that you need to do is to go to your filter and then click blur and then go to Gaussian blur. Okay, we're gonna blur out the image up to 20%. Okay, and then we're gonna click that, click OK, and then we're gonna activate this field, this layer, then go to number 2, and I will go to image and apply image. Okay, now this is a very important option in Photoshop. Nobody does this, but I'm not so sure why they're not using it. It's a very powerful tool. Okay, to begin retouching this layer without the tone all smooch in when you're using the this band-aid, the retouching, you gotta go to your layer 1, okay, which is this layer, and you click invert, and then you go to add. Okay, and then your scale would be number 2 and your offset would be 0. That is if you are editing on a 16-bit image like the one that I have. You can see that is a .tif, so I'm definitely sure that is a 16-bit image. And for some reason that you are not editing on a 16-bit image, maybe you have an 8-bit image, let's say. You have a different setting for 8-bit image. So what you're gonna do is, if you have an 8-bit image, you uncheck the invert, okay, and then you click subtract, and you choose your offset to 128, not 120, not 124, not 130, but 128. The numbers needs to be exact, okay? But since we're doing it on 16-bit image, I'm just gonna go back to, add, then click OK. Okay, and you gotta change your blending mode to linear light. Okay, as you can see, there is no difference on the image, which is, see, if I'll activate this retouch group, it doesn't have any difference on the image. That means I'm doing it perfect. So now just go to your number 2 layer and you select this healing brush tool, and then let's try. Make sure that it's all set to current layer, not all layers, which is some people are normally using. That only applies when you're not using this kind of technique. But for this kind of technique, you always go to your second layer and you choose current layer. Then you select your healing brush. Like I've said, my hardness is set on 94, and maybe my diameter will, let's try it like this. Okay, oops, now I choose source point and then I'll show it to you. There you go. See, if you notice in here, the tones, the black tones and the mid tones in here are not mixing together. That's fantastic. It's because that if you go roughly to the edges, it doesn't destroy the image. You're just playing around with the texture of the image. You're just playing around with the tones. So now you can continue processing, retouching. See, you can retouch the freckles. You are not destroying the tones, the skin details will still gonna be there. Unlike if you don't use this technique, most of the skin tones that you have are gonna be ruined, which is not really nice. So just continue doing it. Okay, I'm not gonna be doing this for long because for some reason I really love the freckles. Like if you go in here, go there, see what I'm talking about? See the lines here? They don't disappear. If you're not using this technique and then you're using the healing brush tool, all of this will gonna go away. It's all smoothed in. Okay, alright, so let's say you're done. You flatten your layer and that's it, you're finished. Okay, for more information about retouching skin and for more tutorials, please log on to www.purpleglossstudio.com or shoot us an email at info@purpleglossstudio.com regarding this technique. Thank you, ciao.